To speak on rent prices in Bethesda, it would be too easy to only talk about the renters in apartments. So we're going to be talking about the basement renters, the one room renters, the subleasings, and also the renters of the actual leases in the actual buildings.
First thing I noticed is you can't actually rent a room in an apartment here. A lot of the buildings nearby, as in Bethesda, actually have to have the owner be a house or a condo. It can't be just these two options, which have a lot of competition that have all the amenities, right? They're somewhat cheap, but as you can see here, they have contacts. So whether we take into account the jobs that you may have, if you're a college athlete or someone who just doesn't have all day for a full-time job, right? These are part-time payments, right? Nepotism is basically sales or whatever, babysitter or whatever opens up if you have the connections, right? You could have $1,000 every 2 weeks. And for retail normal entry level, that's basically cashiering, any jobs that are actually in restaurants nearby or FedEx or anything like that, right? You can make this. And for side hustles, this is really depending on how hard you hustle. You could either make 280 bucks or 500 bucks. And as it says right here, it's to pay for my experience. And for a room, as we've seen, is $900 to $1,200. So whether you're nepotism, whether you've had side hustle money or equipment or not at all, and you had to do this, it really doesn't add up at all because, well, that doesn't add up to that. That doesn't really add up to that. And even that, technically, even this, $2,000 a month is going to basically be able to handle this, but be for real. Everybody has lifestyle creep. Everybody has the $2,000 pay gap and doesn't put it on rent. So, yeah, that is really just how it is, and it's extremely prevalent in Bethesda, as that's really just not something that is like normal for anybody to be paying for with the amount of money that an entry level job that 18 to 22-year-olds can possibly get.
Not a lot of Bethesda traffic goes for certain areas. Smaller companies in Bethesda actually don't have the same buffer as Panera Bread because they're smaller, they don't have the same margin of error as not being able to pay their rent. So Panera Bread is fake bread and stuff. It's still here. So
As in an opening here doesn't actually mean it's $45 per square foot or 35 actually. It doesn't actually mean that you actually get to be here. It just means that the competitors who were here before actually had to pay this much, which means that the price won't go down. It won't go down even if you negotiate. Even if you actually have a good set in stone plan for what are you gonna do with your space, you're still gonna have to rely on traffic. And in certain areas of Bethesda, like I've noticed here, there's actually some hidden gems here around here during behind like CVS, behind banks, and these hidden gems, they don't actually get hit a lot. That you can easily see that they're not really open as much as the other stores, and that really matters when you're looking at a cheap price like this, right? When it's $35, it's still, yeah, it's unbeatable visibility, but still, it doesn't mean that everybody on the road walking that day is actually going to be someone who walks in, right? There's different niches, there's different businesses that could open up in certain areas. And honestly, there's just oversaturation. Everyone's looking at their phone. They're not looking at the businesses around them unless their business has good media teams or good software on their online platforms on their website. Unless their websites have really good media teams, then they're not going to really have a chance at staying here for a long time. Because even looking in the traffic map, right, we could tell from this, right, there's a lot of cars that pass through here, right? But this is from 2025, right? In other spots, the news isn't up to date. 2023, right? And here it says 2025. How in 2025 was there 4,000 in Glenbrook Road, but 34,000 in this Old Georgetown Road? That's telling you that basically anything you see, right? Even 2 blocks away, those 2 blocks matter. There's a reason why this building may cost $70 per square foot, $80 per square foot, $50 per square foot, but this one only costs 35 because the 35 is literally the reason why that business doesn't exist. That's the hidden competition. That's the hidden man in the woods effect, right? There's a man in the woods effect for everything, whether it's your survival in a certain area or your actual uh, financial reasons for renting a certain area, right? There's a reason why here it costs more because more people go here, and here less people go here, so it's actually worse, even if it costs less. And that really hurts the businesses because how are you going to have a business, right? It costs like $500,000 just to buy all the equipment, all the stuff, and then you just realize that the foot traffic is so low, even though 5 blocks away, literally 5 blocks away, is a spot that has over 7 times more foot traffic. That really matters when you're actually.
So here we're going towards what used to be Woodmont Grill. Yeah, everybody knows how Matchbox got cooked. Woodmont Grill got cooked. Like bathing and body works store near Woodmont Avenue also got cooked. And it doesn't have to do with the fact that they're small companies, right? But it does have to do with the fact that there's different margins of error, and but that's a reason for that. And it's because of the property. The properties just cost way too much. So although rent is a problem for entry level roles, there's also competition, which is everything that everyone has when they're mid level and actually like years into their field. So it's not actually that Bethesda's actually that open for solo workers at the start of their careers. It's actually open for like the end goal of what a worker would probably try to get to in like 3 years, right?